John Watson, a strict behaviorist, wanted to demonstrate that all responses, even emotions, were conditioned responses. Along with his student Rosalie Rayner, he conducted the Little Albert case study. Albert was a young child from the Johns Hopkins University nursery. As a calm, docile child, he had few natural fears. The one thing he was afraid of was loud noises. And so Watson's basic experimental setup was something like this. We have our young child, little Albert, who undergoes classical conditioning, in which John Watson would use the unconditioned stimulus of a loud noise. He would actually bang a gong right behind little Albert's head to scare him, and would simultaneously present what was previously a neutral stimulus, the white rat, would present the white rat, the loud noise repeatedly until he was able to elicit a conditioned fear response, a fear response to the white rat by itself. And so little Albert would display avoidance or freezing behavior, attempt to escape the white rat. And this generalized to other similar stimuli. Often people ask what happened to little Albert after the study. Albert was the son of a nurse who worked at the campus hospital there at Johns Hopkins. And to our knowledge, he was never deconditioned. And so it seems as though this may be problematic. So people were interested in what happened. Was he always afraid of white rats for his whole life? Unfortunately, the story ends rather tragically. Little Albert died at the age of 6, not anything to do with the experiment, but he died of acquired hydrocephalus. It's unfortunate that little Albert was not deconditioned, because extinguishing a conditioned response is important for understanding the practical applications of classical conditioning, particularly in a therapeutic setting. If we know that fears can be conditioned, we can use basic principles of conditioning to eliminate or treat these fears. We can break the association between the conditioned stimulus and the unconditioned stimulus by repeatedly presenting the conditioned stimulus in isolation. John Watson could repeatedly present the white rat without the loud noise until little Albert learned that the rat was nothing to fear. Again, we see the role of contingency and extinction. The conditioned stimulus no longer reliably predicts the unconditioned stimulus. So how is this used in therapy? People with fears or phobias may seek systematic desensitization therapy. With the help of a therapist, they create a fear hierarchy. For example, I'm afraid of the giant water roaches here in Texas. I might list standing next to a completely dead roach as low on my fear hierarchy and holding a live roach in my hand as high on my fear hierarchy. And so with the help of a therapist, I would progressively move up my hierarchy. And at each stage, encountering the stimulus and attempting to maintain a relaxed state. And so I have repeated encounters with the feared stimulus without negative consequences, till the point when I am able to reach the top of my hierarchy and encounter this stimulus without a fear response. And so that fear response is now extinct. And so you might try this out on your own. You might think of ways that you could encounter your feared stimulus and progressively work up through some stages. Now, be very careful. This may not be practical depending on what your fear is. But for something like mine, I could attempt to do this on my own. And I have tried, walking past dead roaches and trying to stay calm. I haven't really progressed much through any type of hierarchy. I definitely can't hold a live roach. So I haven't been very successful, but maybe some of you guys have tried something similar and have experienced more success. Following the Little Albert study, it was discovered that Watson was having an extramarital affair with his graduate student, Rosalie Wagner. As a result, Watson was forced to leave the university in disgrace and ultimately pursued a career in advertising. We can definitely see the influence of classical conditioning on marketing and advertising. Many advertising campaigns are built around associating products with bright colors, happy people, pleasant music, etc. Coca-Cola has even managed to pair their product with Christmas and Santa in the hopes that those positive holiday emotions will transfer to their product or become associated with their product after repeated pairings. We know that they have been wildly successful. They sell syrup water all over the world. While classical conditioning can't completely account for their success, it's clear that they've tapped into some core psychology in their marketing. And maybe you can think of other examples of ads that rely on classical conditioning, or maybe other examples of classical conditioning in your own personal life. Maybe certain stimuli that you're drawn to or have an emotional response to. You can trace that emotion or that particular response back to some experience that indicates classical conditioning. So for instance, I have a positive emotional response to the smell of sunscreen, and I really like that smell. And I think that it has to do with the association that that smell has with positive experiences in my past. And so that scent in particular is paired with fun summer activities with friends and family, going to the park, going to the pool or the beach. And so all of those positive emotions that are associated with those activities and those memories are associated now with that scent. And so that scent is able to elicit those positive emotions through this process of classical conditioning. So let us know if you have any similar examples. And we'll talk more about some of the challenges to classic behaviors here and expand on some of the real world applications of classical conditioning in the next video.